Welcome, this is Josh Reeves with Mile High Church in Lakewood, Colorado. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. For more information about our church, please visit our website, milehighchurch.org.
So it's back to basics here at Mile High Church, something we love to do each year. Vibrant spiritual living, Wellsprings to well-being, the topic today. And I'd like to begin by talking about a moment that happened in August of 1960. A young Air Force officer named Joseph Kittinger took off in a dinky gondola connected to a hot air balloon until he reached 100,000 at 3,000 feet. No human being up to that point had ever been to that elevation. Kittinger was the first human being to ever behold the curvature of the earth. And you know, it's interesting with all of these astronauts in the 1960s who started to go to outer space, they were all really expecting to be wowed by everything around them, these new things they were discovering, which they were, of course. But do you know what they were most in awe of? Our own planet. Looking back at our own planet. I loved how Jim Lovell, Apollo astronaut, put it. He said, "We learned a lot about the moon, but what we really learned was about the Earth. The fact that just from the distance of the moon, you can put your thumb up and you can hide the Earth behind your thumb. Everything that you've ever known, your loved ones, your business, the problems of the Earth itself, all behind your thumb." Shout out to the Rolling Stones, right? And how insignificant we really all are. But then how fortunate we are to have this body and to be able to enjoy living here amongst the beauty of the earth itself. Sacred, beautiful earth. Kittinger would share with National Geographic that to get up to that height, it required of him 4 things. Absolute confidence in his team, absolute confidence in his equipment, absolute confidence in himself, and absolute confidence in God. See, there is this place where science and spirituality meet. It's at the vortex to the unknown. There's something powerful that happens when we remove fear of the unknown and instead approach it with anticipation and excitement. And we get that sense of hope. We feel the divine with us, and like a divine explorer, we move forward. And that's what Kittinger did. There's just one problem. He was in that dinky gondola, up in that hot air balloon. No spaceships yet, no airplanes that could reach that height, and only one way for him to head down. You know what it was? He had to jump. He had to jump. And he shared that coming up, it was those 4 principles that got him there. Getting back down, it was those 4 principles, but reversed. Absolute confidence in God, absolute confidence in himself, absolute confidence in his equipment, and absolute confidence in his team. He shared, just before jumping, I said a prayer, "Lord, take care of me now." After the main chute opened, I said, "Thank you, Lord, for taking care of me during that long fall." The landing is as hard as any I've ever made in my life, but I'm on the ground apparently in one piece. I'm surrounded by sand, salt, grass, and sage. No Garden of Eden could look more beautiful. The elapsed time since the bailout, 13 minutes, 45 seconds. Wow. Now that I am safely down again, I realize how dependent upon the protection of the Almighty are all seekers of the unknown. Now, where you are, yes, you, in your life today, you may not be about to jump from over 100,000 feet in the air, but I'm willing to bet for each and every person here and watching online, there is a leap before you. There is a precipice that is ready for you to jump. Something that, just like Kittinger, can allow you to see the beauty of the world as it should be seen, to be the full adventurer that you are, to step into the grace and power that approaches the unknown, not with fear and trepidation, but with excitement and with a yes. That's what this new year offers us, the opportunity to take a new leap into divine creation. Now, our whole science of mind philosophy is really simple. It's based on a basic premise. You can change your life. 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 You back there, you can change your life. You can change your life. You can change your life. It's such a powerful gift, this thing each and every one of us has called choice. It's a great gift. It's a fragile gift. And in one way, it's kind of a dangerous gift, right? Because with one choice, you could drive yourself or your life in a ditch. You could end your own life. You could say or do something that makes a relationship non-recoverable. With just one choice, you can bury yourself in mistruths, judgments, and put yourself in a consciousness of hell. However, with just one choice, you can change your life for the better. With just one choice, you can transform every mistruth you've buried yourself under. With just one choice, you can unleash a creative power in your life that allows you to see, as the divine sees, the beauty of the earth, the beauty of yourself, the beauty of one another. Now, it may be one choice that you have to make every day for the rest of your life, but that's okay. That's how powerful choice is. The premise of Science of Mind is that you can change your life. And why and how? Because there is a power for good in this universe greater than you are, and you can use it. There is a power for good in this universe greater than you are, and you can use it. Ernest Holmes tells us, if you will take time daily to sense the presence of life within you, to believe in it, to accept it, it will not be long before the life which you have known will gradually disappear and something new will be born. A bigger, better, and more perfect you. You will pass from death into life, from lack and want into greater freedom, from fear into faith, from a sense of being alone. You will pass into a realization of oneness with everything, and you will rejoice in this oneness. We identify that power for good, and then we learn to use it for definitive purposes in our life. How do we use it? I'm defining it today as wellsprings to well-being. What are the wellsprings to well-being? It's the power of mind. It's the power of love. And it's the power of the genuine within you. The power of mind is that ability to recognize that power for good in the universe all around you. Kittinger would have called it as equipment. It's the principles. It's the way of operating. It's the creative thinking. It's the science and the pragmatism. It's the self-reliance and the willingness to think creatively to transform your life. Katie Milkman is a great behavioral scientist, put out a great book last year called How to Change. Just a good, simple title, How to Change. And she gives us all the scientific information about great ways to change your life, pragmatic stuff. Start by identifying a new beginning. That's why the new year is so powerful metaphorically and symbolically. Start with a new beginning. Use deadlines and set goals to help you in your approach. She talks a lot about gamification, this idea of have fun with your goals. We talk about that when we're doing intention setting here at Mile High. Don't set an intention from a place of your brokenness or not enoughness, because you're just going to lead yourself back there. Set an intention from your wholeness to experience your gifts. Milkman tells us the story of the great tennis player Andre Agassi. You remember him? Great tennis player, had two phases of his career. This is cute Andre. Isn't he adorable? Look at that mullet. You just want to rub his head. And he was an image guy. He would even say, in this famous commercial, image is everything. And he was a hard hitter. He could serve like nobody else, and yet there was just one problem. He wasn't winning. He was becoming an unseeded tennis player, so great in popular culture, but not getting the results he wanted on the court. And he had a meeting with the author of a book, a tennis player that had beaten him several times, named Brad Gilbert, called Winning Ugly. And Gilbert shared with Agassi that if he had his talent, he'd be owning the tennis tour. And that part of Agassi's problem was that he was always trying to hit a winner. All the time hitting the ball as hard as he can. And Agassi recalled that's how his dad taught him to play, is always hit everything as hard as you can. But Gilbert was sharing is he would easily use that against Agassi because you can't win on every shot. Gilbert's advice, stop thinking about yourself and remember your opponent has weaknesses. Instead of succeeding, let your opponent fail. A few months later, Agassi would enter unranked into the U.S. Open and make it all the way to the finals against the German Michael Stich. Instead of going for winners, he concentrated on keeping the ball in play. He could hear Gilbert's voice in his head, go for his forehand, and he stayed on task. He hit the ball over and over again to Stich's forehand, his feeblest shot, and on match point, Stich missed. Change your thinking, change your life. Change your thinking, change your life. Change your thinking, change your life. For those of us who've been in this teaching for a while, let that never be a cliche. Let us never reduce that to simply being a slogan on its own. Change your thinking, change your life. It doesn't just mean turn destituteness into prosperity or make the negative positive. It's that challenge to every day in your life seek to expand, evolve, and deepen in your thinking and behavior, and watch as life transforms around you with the brilliance of this infinite mind. What Holmes would tell us is the greatest discovery anyone ever made, and use it for definitive purposes in your life. Change your thinking, change your life every day. Every day. The power of mind is the ability to recognize this power for good in the universe all around you and to use it. The power of love is the recognition that this power is within you and within all human beings around you. It sounds really sweet, but it's freaking hard, right? To do that, especially when we're angry, especially when we're in judgment, especially when something negative happens that puts us on the outside of love, that throws us off our sanctuary, right? But that's the power of love. It's that ability to recognize the power greater than you are within yourself and within all people, that all are worthy, including you, to be a bastion and a medium, an ambassador for this divine love. And there is no more creative power than to bring it to your life with conscious awareness. I shared it in a sermon last year, but I really want to step in to this affirmation, or I'll call it a divine reminder this year. And the divine reminder is this: there is always something love can do. Always remember, there is always something love can do. Always. Always. Will you say that with me? There is always something love can do. In a fight with your spouse, hi honey, there's always something love can do. Winning isn't about getting the argument, it's who gets back to love quicker, right? You have a courageous conversation that you need to have with someone in your employment. You don't know how it's going to go. There's always something love can do. You got to go to the doctor's appointment and you don't know what the diagnosis is going to be, but whatever it is, you know you're going to respond to it because there's always something love can do. We look out in the world, even our own cities, fires and pandemics and all of this kind of stuff, and it's frustrating and it's heartbreaking and it's a trek. Oh, boy, is it a trek. But there's always something love can do. Remember that with me this year. In those challenging moments when you don't know what to do, know that love does know what to do. Live from that place, and it's amazing the creativity that can take place for you. I love how Rainer Maria Rilke, the great poet, put it. Believe in a love that is being stored up for you like an inheritance. And have faith that in this love there is a strength and a blessing so large that you can travel as far as you wish without having to step outside it. How quick are so many of us to place ourselves outside of the flow of love because of our sense of woundedness, because of our judgment, because of our fear of criticism, what for me is often a sad arrogance of trying to know that I'm right. How quick we can put ourselves out of the flow of love, and how important it is, being the most creative power that there is, to allow ourselves to discover the genuine in ourselves and all around us by using this power. The power of mind is about recognizing infinite intelligence all around us, using it for definitive purposes. Power of love is realizing this power in ourselves and in everybody. The power of the genuine within you is that willingness. It takes time, it takes depth, it takes a deepening of consciousness. But it's that willingness to allow this power to express itself as you. As you, as you, as you. You know that advice, just be yourself. We all heard that before? Great advice. Sometimes I ask, what the hell is that supposed to mean? It's myself that got me in all this trouble in the first place. But it's good advice. And the reason it's such good advice is because it's based on the most grandest of spiritual ideas. That the infinite, in this wide, vast universe, both inner and outer, is so infinite that it can only express itself uniquely. Oneness isn't sameness, it's the diversity of the expression of uniqueness as each and every one of us. So to be yourself is to identify your true nature with the recognition that if you can be yourself wholly and completely, you have absolutely everything already designed within you to bring about the best self, life, and relationships possible. But boy, how we can fear the genuine within us. Boy, how we can get buried in inhibitions and repressions and fear of judgment. If you really knew me, you wouldn't love me. If you really saw me, you wouldn't like what you saw. Gosh, even if God got a hint about some of the things that go on in here, I'd be in trouble. But no. Step into the genuine within yourself and have the boldness to be it unashamed, self-conscious, humble, mind you, and to be that loving, awesome, precious child of the divine that you are. Be it for yourself and be a supportive presence for those around you to be it also. That's the power of mind. That's the power of love. That's the power of the genuine within you. And something so great is we can do this individually, but we can also do it as couples. We can identify this power and use it together. We can identify it as a spiritual community. We can identify with it as a country, as humanity, and we can do incredible things. United States with partners around the world did something so incredible this last year that's still taking place right now that I'm so impressed by, that it isn't just a great leap in science, but it's such a beautiful symbol of what our teaching is and what it's about. And it launched on Christmas morning. It's called the James Webb Telescope. Maybe you've seen it in the tickers of news way down on the bottom of the page. Don't quote me on this, but I think I read it's 100 times more powerful than the Hubble telescope. And this thing launched on Christmas morning with spiritual significance. Remember, science and spirituality meeting when they confront the unknown to do amazing things. And this big, giant thing that is currently, as we speak, unfolding itself in outer space to give us information that we've never had before about not only what's out there in the cosmos, but what is right here on Earth. And they still have a ways to go, and we want to lift them with prayerful consciousness as they have faith in their people and their equipment and in themselves and in God. But what an incredible thing that, to me, speaks just as much to what our science of mind and spirit philosophy is all about. See, we're based in ancient wisdom. We are based in the mystical truths of all the ages that go back from the beginning of time wherever we can collect them. And yet our focus is forward. Our focus is just as much the brand new as it is the ancient wisdom of our past. And so this launch of this telescope to me is it's like science of mind in action, is what it is. Because it's moving into unknown places to discover new things about life, who we are, and the absolute, God. What an incredible thing. And so in science of mind, we have reverence for Moses when he encounters the burning bush. And yet we have just as much reverence when we look at the intricacies of the human genome. We have reverence for the Buddha when he encounters the angel of illusion, Mara, before he achieves enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. But just as much, we fathom when we learn the same anatomy of a star is the same anatomy of our own human bodies and beings. We have a reverence for Jesus and his miracles, for the wise men following the star. And yet we have just as much reverence for all that is unknown in these cosmos around us as this James Webb telescope begins to give us new information. And it's funny because if you ask a scientist in the press, what's this thing going to show us? They'll usually answer, well, it's going to help us see light in a different way and measure things and see rings around planets that we've never seen. But if they were to answer honestly, the answer is, we don't know what it's going to show us. And we're so excited by that, right? It's when we take that leap, like Kittinger did, that we return not to a place we've never been before, but to the place where we are, and as if for the first time, see it clearly, succinctly, and with that spiritual vision that can allow us to step into greater ways of being. What is that leap you're being called to in your life today? What is that little jump that you can make that can begin to transform not just what you see, but how you see? We can all make a choice individually, but in particular today, I want to make an invitation for us to make a leap together as a spiritual community. How does that sound? Thank you, Jeanette. And I have the honor of introducing today our Mile High initiative for 2022. This is kind of like a theme for the year. It's something that won't take up all of our programming, but a lot of it. And the initiative is health and well-being. Health and well-being. Let's jump into a greater degree of health and well-being together in 2022. In talking with people, we did a lot of strategic planning with hundreds of people and just listening to congregants. You know what we hear the most? In this crazy, fractured times of pandemics and political divisions and racial injustice and on and on and on, I've lost a sense of physical well-being. I'm losing my emotional well-being. It's hard to stay psychologically well in these times. I'm challenged with work-life balance, relationship balance, parenting, et cetera, and we've heard this, and we want to focus this year on increasing our individual and collective health and well-being. And so there'll be Sunday series on health and well-being. There'll be Wednesday series. There'll be classes that are tailored to health and well-being, workshops, event speakers, our youth curriculum, our small group curriculum. And yet I want to point out something particular today that has to do with the vision that we have for Mile High Church here. And that is the things that you can do every day with Mile High Church for your well-being. I want Mile High Church to be a part of your everyday life. I want your spirituality, first and foremost, to be a part of your everyday life beyond Sunday, but you can do it with Mile High Church. We have spiritual practices on the campus here, Monday through Thursday. Yoga, you just show up and it's not advanced. Qigong on Thursdays. When the Omicron settles down, our chapel will be open for meditation almost every day. We have a podcast. We have Insight Timer. How many people have Insight Timer? It's this great meditation app, and we have hundreds of meditations on there. We have something called a Daily Pearl, so you can go onto our website and sign up and get a daily inspirational quote every day. But I invite you to, together, as Mile High Church, let's step into greater health and well-being and make a commitment that a year from now, each and every one of us is going to be a little healthier and a little more well-being-ier too. Can you go, yes? Even if you think you're perfect now, let's take a little bit of a leap together and become healthier, stronger, willing to see the beauty around us with full faith in one another, in our equipment, in ourselves, and that power greater than we are with us wherever we go. As we move into prayer today, I invite any of our prayer practitioners to stand. Some words from Ernest Holmes to bring us into prayer. Try to relax mentally and physically. When you do this, you will find something very definite taking place in your thought world. Solid facts become fluid. Obstructions and obstacles seem to fall away. You are, in a sense, climbing a ladder of thought which perhaps started in dense confusion, fear, and uncertainty. The first step takes you a little more above this confusion, and now you begin to climb more easily. There is an enthusiastic elasticity in your step. You climb joyously. You find you have passed through the clouds of fear, despair, and doubt. There is light everywhere. So giving thanks for that light, we allow it to lift us up beyond any clouds of confusion or limitation, self-judgment, or uncertainty, into that light of the divine, that power greater than we are, that is in truth the heart of our being. We allow this power to reveal to us the panoramic view, the whole picture of our lives, that even though so much of it may be unknown to us, is already complete in the heart and mind of God. It only needs demonstrate through each of us as a greater realization of healing, as a deeper, more profound understanding of forgiveness, of a willingness to deepen and grow and change, of an openness and willingness to have relationships that have seemed stagnant to grow and unfold in deeper, more profound intimacy. Is that willingness to be fully seen by others in the light of our divine truth and to reflect that truth everywhere we go. It's that courage to know that right here and right now, that divine power that brought us all of the great faiths and leads us into greater and greater understandings of the cosmos. It tells us to keep going, that this power is better and better, eternally brand new, renewing each of us in the light of its love, its healing, and its grace. We let it become for us, for those that we love. We shine this light into the world, seeing clearly and emphatically what is ours to do here and now. And so it is. Amen.
Thanks for listening to the Mile High Church podcast. This podcast is made possible by the generous contributions from listeners like you. To make a donation, please visit milehighchurch.org.